Today we're talking about reading. So if you've struggled with reading your whole life, there's only 3 mistakes that you could possibly be making. Now, whether you want to pick up reading as a pastime hobby or to learn English, the results don't vary much. But what if I ask you the question, what book are you currently reading or want to read next? And the answer, that's where the problem starts. Look, our attention span has gone down drastically. It's no more easy to focus on anything. It's gone down from 12 seconds to 8 seconds, meaning it is 3 times more difficult to focus on a task today. And that is why what most people follow when it comes to reading is not just reading, but shallow reading, which is our first mistake. Now, shallow reading, in other words, would just be reading entire books to say at the end, I do not know how to explain a thing. And there's a lot of people that do that. Shallow reading occurs mostly because of 2 factors. First, distraction. Second, lack of comprehension. Now, if you lose comprehension while reading, that is your sign to stop. Take a pause, take a moment, look up the information if needed. Because if you keep losing comprehension, you are basically not grasping anything. But distraction is a bigger problem. If you want to look up information related to the comprehension, like why something is being written in the text, that is completely fine. But that is a narrow exception. Do not fall into the trap of checking every detail, every word that pops up. Not only is that tiring, but also derailing. Now, you cannot focus on reading if your brain is constantly craving for more screen time. And that is what happens. Distraction relates to 2 things, internal and external. Now, external distraction would be your dog, your little brother, your mom talking over you, or the internal distractions, our thoughts wandering off every 1 or 2 minutes. What is the fix? Fortunately, the fix is as simple as self-awareness. Just staying alert to these teeny tiny distractions would help you develop an internal alarm system that goes off every single time you just pick up your phone casually or your thoughts drift away. Now understand this thing. This is super important given how our brain functions. Because distraction is so commonplace in our lifestyle, our brain at this point doesn't even register these teeny tiny distractions. It's like you do not know what's happening or you never catch yourself being distracted, but the results show it. But I believe that we are smarter than our habits. Staying alert to these distractions would finally give you the taste of a deep reading session that you've been missing. All right, mistake number 2 is avoiding pre-reading, or the very thing that separates great readers from average ones. Scanning the headings, contents, chapter summaries, bold or italicized words give your brain a map that makes reading at least 2 times faster and easy to remember. This very thing has been a game changer for me as well. I mean, I spent exactly 3 minutes scanning a full chapter before actually reading it. And I've literally gone from 1 or 2 books a month maybe to 1 or 2 books a week in a good week. And the same practice has helped my students similarly. So when you start pre-reading, notice the 3 things. A jump in your speed, a jump in your comprehension, and a jump in your interest for reading more and more. All right, the final mistake. Something that I should have talked about at the start of the video, given how important it is, but I saved it for the end. Remember, I asked you a question. What book are you currently reading or planning to read next? And if nothing comes to mind, don't worry. It is often in the wrong choice of books that leave people so dispirited that they do not return to reading for months or years on end. And you also know that people pick these books based off of online recommendations. Now, it's not a bad way to pick up a book, but these recommendations are generally not customized per your familiarity, interest, or background. And that is why you find it so difficult to stay with the book. You start with high levels of motivation and then quickly experience a dip. But the good news is, finding your book, the right book for you, isn't so hard. Just plug into ChatGPT and drop this prompt. It will give you a list of books based on your level of English, interest, and goal out of the reading. Let me tell you this much. It wasn't until I found my book that I finished reading my first book. It works like a charm. Now, don't get me wrong if I ask you not to read philosophies right now in the initial stage. I know Most people want to read Aristotle, Sigmund Freud, René Descartes, etc., etc. I'm a fan of philosophies too, but you need to hold on in that. Reading is a process, one that is full of steps. I like to call it the reading ladder. With each step, you lock a different level, just like in games. So it is much better to keep these philosophical, dense works at a later stage and reach there than to start with it to really enjoy these reads. Now here's a clear summary for you. Focus on comprehension and avoid distraction of all kinds, both internal and external. Start pre-reading, analyzing the heading, the bold words, etc. and find your book that will help you stick till the end. I have achieved my goal of reading hundreds of books using these 3 techniques. And if you have the same goal in mind, just begin applying.